Did it seem forceful when Rose was crying over Kate, or was that just me?
Well, it was her sister, but it
Yeah.
didn't work in the scene. Like, he just kind of walks in on... I guess it works, but it was
It's
just...
just like, it works if you like show her start to cry or something, but when you just walk into a room and the woman is bawling, it's just a little, I
Yeah,
didn't,
I guess.
maybe I'm just
I
being
just
overly
don't
critical.
care. I don't... It's just like they introduce this thing with her and her sister, and then they shove it down our throat.
Oh yeah,
And they
oh
don't
yeah.
and they don't make her character really charming either, which again is not the actress's fault, it's their writing. And so
Mhm,
unlike Rey, when you meet Rey for the first time, and Finn, they're very interesting and compelling
mhm.
for the first time. And then it's not like they grab you. She doesn't ever grab you. And then
Yeah,
Rey and
no,
Finn just they had this great relationship in the first movie, and then they just split them. It's the dumbest thing. It's the worst idea to
they
split
split them
everybody up
up.
in the middle.
I
Yeah,
hate it.
because the middle's where all the development happens for a lot of it.
It was
And
really
then you
stupid.
just split them all up so they can't develop their relationship at all. Finn and Rey, like,
Mhm.
had really good chemistry. I like how people will say, like, they, um, that all these people or whatever are racist that don't like the movies or whatever, or do offensive things or bigots, whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they literally made they didn't put Rey and Finn together, who actually had chemistry. I would have been fine with Ben and Rey getting together. I actually can see something there. But
Yeah. It's just
just the
frustrating.
way they did it, yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like that's
Ray
something
and
that would work
Kylo's
more
a
in a
lot
book.
more cringe than Ray and Finn. And then Ray and Finn don't
Yeah,
even get as many like scenes together as they
yeah,
totally should have.
yeah, and like, so they don't put Rey and Finn together. They introduce a new character, and this may sound racist, but it's actually important to what I'm saying. They introduce a black woman who's a good character. She just didn't get developed, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Jonna or whatever her name is. Um, and they
Who?
literally Jonna. She was like the turned stormtrooper in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh
With the
yeah,
bow and
her.
arrow.
She was
They
really
rode the other space
hmm
horses.
Yeah.
Um, and then make her like set her up at least a little bit like she's gonna be Finn's girlfriend. And I guess maybe they didn't, but I'm like, huh, which one of those is more offensive? No, the other one isn't offensive. Rey and Finn is not offensive at all. What Same with
Yeah.
Finn and Jonna, but it's like you had to make a black girlfriend for him. That's a little bit um is that okay? Do we need to cancel you, J.J. Abrams? I think we need to cancel. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It probably wasn't. Maybe that's kind of I'm reaching there, but it's just kind of like, really, you couldn't put Finn and Rey together, so you had to make a black girlfriend for him. Like he
I
couldn't
get it.
be with Rey because is it because she's white? Isn't that why? No, but
um so Ben Shapiro described the Last Jedi battle at the
oh
Salt
boy,
Planet
I'm
as
kidding.
simply the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah,
And I think Ben Shapiro has a decent point. Kind of.
it kind of is,
Kind of. Yeah.
except not as interesting. I do love
Yeah.
the way Crate looks, though. It looks so pretty.
It does look pretty cool.
The cinematography in Last Jedi is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
That one shot where I'm sorry, Kylo and Luke are like standing in the middle of the salt or whatever, and then the one
Yeah.
shot where Kylo has his lightsaber right in front of the camera, and you can hear the lightsaber going like, like,
Oh yeah.
like with the sparks coming off of it and stuff.
Mhm.
I still think the colors in Last Jedi, they don't. If you watch like Force Awakens and then Last Jedi, they don't have
Yeah.
the same like color scheme.
They don't.
And I know that's small, but it makes the trilogy feel even less cohesive.
Yep.
Because they don't even feel like they have the same tone, the movies.
I agree. It's sad.
Like,
It's sad, but
one can get a little darker, but like the original trilogy still feels like the same story. Rises, they all feel like different stories.
I feel like they have the same colors for some reason. Like there's green and there's like
Last Jedi's
it's
a lot of like black and red, which I do
it's
like.
a lot more the original trilogy is a lot more neutral colors and they
Yeah,
blend
it's just
together
like kind of
well.
neutral, like just a lot of
And
normal colors.
the new trilogy has a whole bunch of bright colors and almost like in your
Yeah.
face a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. The prequels were kind of the same color scheme as the original trilogy. They were just the way they filmed, whatever camera and cinematography George Lucas did, for as much as I love Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
was so flat and like lifeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some really good cinematography in the prequels, but it's just so like flat.
I know, it's sad.
There's no depth. And like yeah, like the and then the new movies like Force Awakens is like really colorful, like you said. And it's kind of new. It's almost like the original trilogy, like it's neutral, but they just up the colors up by a bunch.
Yeah.
And then Last Jedi is like black and red, and I think they used a different camera to film it, which is why
You think so?
why it looks kind of weird. Yeah. And then Rise of Skywalker is like cartoony, like bright blue, like Exegol and stuff, which does look cool, but like blue and then bright green and bright like yellow kind of on like Pasana and stuff, and it looks cartoony.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, so when Chewbacca is flying the Millennium Falcon through Crate, I thought it
Yeah.
was actually kind of cute when the porgs like fell against the window and were like ah, and then they were like
Oh.
smush.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cute. I was like, what?
I did like seeing the porgs in Rise of Skywalker. It was kind of like, oh, that's cool. Continuity.
Okay, again, the way they set it up, Finn should have died.
I don't like I wish they didn't set that up at all because I don't think it was time for him to die yet. Because
I know.
who would they have
It's
replaced him with?
because they set it up. It's because of the music.
But if you're gonna set it
and the
up, do it.
shots.
Yeah.
It's like they went almost.
Oh my gosh.
What?
They could have had. I can't remember if Luke had shown up at that. No, he hadn't yet. They could have had. They could have had it both ways. They could have had Finn almost sacrifice himself and then not. They could have, instead of Rose flying into him, they could have had Finn about to sacrifice himself, and then Luke flies in the X-Wing and shoots the cannon. Well, actually, no.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so cool.
If Luke shot down that cannon with an X-Wing, that would have made it seem really pointless because it's supposed to be like a Death Star type laser, so one X-Wing probably couldn't destroy it. But, like, you get what I mean. That would have been...
Yeah.
Then nobody flies into him, but he still...
I know. I'm glad Finn didn't die, but they shouldn't have set it up like that.
Yeah. We're not fighting what we hate. Save what we love.
Yeah. I actually like the ice battle because they were taking heavy losses, because it was, at one point, it was really powerful and sad and scary, and it was like, this is real, this is war, you guys are losing, like, do something, like, because then it makes the characters have to figure some things out, and it, I thought that was good. Also, it didn't make any sense why no one came in this movie. Like, they literally called all their allies. They sent out the signal, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And then in Rise of Skywalker, two armies came. They all come.
I think the point of it is to be that Luke inspired the galaxy to rise. But, like, it kind of, I don't know. It's just so many of these things that it's like, yeah, I guess maybe that's technically what it means, but did they really show you that in the movie?
Yeah.
Not really. They show you at the end that Luke kind of, I guess, inspired people because they show those kids talking about what he did, but it's kind of hollow, it feels, because it's like,
yeah,
I don't care about those kids. I don't know. And then, yeah, like, what does Lando, like, smooth talk them all?
I guess so.
It's just...
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah. I still feel like Luke's death is lacking.
Yeah, mainly because it's just so unclear what happened.
Yeah. I've heard my friend describe it as, like, he was so exhausted that he died.
Yeah. It's, like, he got tired and died.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
I wish that they would have... It actually says it in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary that the X-Wing doesn't work. It says, it describes his X-Wing, and it says it doesn't work. It's inoperational from being underwater for all those years. So that's why he did what he did, because he couldn't get off of the island. He literally had no way of leaving.
That makes sense. I like that.
And so I was like, oh, wow, that actually makes sense. And then they completely just retcon that in Rise of Skywalker and go, oh, it works now, even though it's been underwater for 4 years.
Yep, it's stupid.
And I do like that moment when he pulls it out of the water. I love that. But it makes his death even more stupid.
yeah. Um, it feels like Kylo is like too emotional in this movie. Like, you get the idea that Kylo doesn't just want power, and he also. I almost like when Kylo was fighting with Luke, I was like, what do you want, Kylo? Really, like, attention? Like, what?
Yeah. It just
Forgiveness?
I don't like how Luke talks to him either. It feels out of character, kind of,
I
because
agree.
he's like, "See you around, kid," and then he like kind of smirks at him or whatever. I'm like, that no.
That feels like Han or something. And
Yeah, but
also,
Han wouldn't even talk to like that of his own, like if it was his nephew.
Luke saved his father's life. So Luke
Yeah,
should, yeah, I'm here to save you. There's still good in you. I know. There was good in Darth Vader.
yeah. Like he just seems, I don't know. It's like, Luke, buddy, Vader was even worse. You should have
Yeah.
dealt with Vader. You should have seen him. I mean, Luke just like teleports back in time to see. Like, let me compare this guy to Ben and see how bad he is. Teleports back in time and just sees Anakin standing there. I hate sand. It's coarse and rough. Nope, I can't.
What if Anakin like forced ghosts right there
Anakin
with
was just as
Luke and
whiny almost.
Kylo, and then Anakin is like, dude, I was literally
Yeah,
Darth Vader. Don't do
yeah.
this. Don't make the
Anakin,
same mistakes.
I would say Anakin was more whiny. He was in Attack of the Clones, but when he actually
Yeah.
turned in Revenge of the Sith, you clearly understood why.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, compelling why he did. It makes sense. And they make it even better in Clone Wars. It's really
hmm
heartbreaking after you watch Clone Wars. It's super heartbreaking.
We should watch that and then like talk about it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's really sad. And then I don't know where I was going with this, but I don't know. But I guess it makes sense why what Ben did what he did, but it's just so like kind of, yeah, the way Luke talks to him, and then he says he's sorry. He's like, I failed you, and I'm like, yeah, you did. So that was good. But then he doesn't really seem like he shows much remorse. Like he smirks at him when he like dodges his attack or whatever,
I
and I'm
hate
like,
it.
you're supposed to be like, you're not Tony Stark. Like,
And Luke doesn't even feel
even
bad
Stark wouldn't
about
do
it.
that.
It feels like Luke doesn't feel bad about failing Kylo sometimes. Like it feels like Luke
Yeah,
is like, I failed you, now I'm gonna kill you.
this is random too, but I also hate when he says, um, when he says, when he's talking about how he failed or whatever, and he's like, because I
Mhm.
was Luke Skywalker, Jedi legend. The way he says it like that,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
it's almost like, I don't want to say like they're spitting in our faces for being like, yeah, he's this legend, but it's so like, it
Yeah,
breaks your, like, it takes you out of the movie so hard because
I
it's like
know.
it's like they're ruining this like childhood thing that you had and showing you that Luke was disgusted with himself, like he was disgusted with this character that you love, and
Like,
it's like,
don't do this to us, Ryan
yeah,
Johnson. Please
and
stop. You're
it's like,
literally killing
I'm all
me.
for giving character flaws. Like I love the idea of like the movie being about. I love that one scene. I think that scene is pretty much perfect with him and Yoda talking on the
Oh
log,
yeah,
not
that's
necessarily
pretty
when he
good.
burns on the temple. I don't even care. I don't even care when Yoda strikes the tree with lightning. That
Page
didn't bother me when I
turners,
saw the
they were
movie.
not.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But I still, I, I, I like that. I just don't quite. It's not earned when he says all that knowledge is in Rey because
I
they
agree.
haven't quite shown that. If
hmm
they showed that, if they said that in like Force Awakens or something, I would have been like, all right, fine, because we're just getting to know her. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I,
Um. Yeah.
it just feels so. I like the idea of it being about failure though, and how failure is a good teacher. I just feel like that kind of lesson
That's a good.
belongs. It belongs better than in the middle movie of a trilogy. If they did that kind of thing in like the Kenobi show and had Kenobi like talking to Qui-Gon's Force Ghost and him teaching him about failure because he kind of
True.
failed Anakin. Like if he
Yeah.
was a better master, there's a good chance Anakin would not have turned into
hmm
Vader. Then that would be a lot more fitting because we actually see Obi-Wan, we see the progression of him failing
Yeah.
in front of our eyes. We don't see it happen with Luke. It
No,
happens
we
off
don't.
screen.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
I'm
The
sorry, I
new
talk
movies
a
are
lot.
just lacking depth. They really
Yeah.
are. Um. Yeah. Also, didn't Snoke say he bridged the FaceTime between Kylo and Rey?
Mm-hmm.
Like he bridged the gap to their minds. Then
Yeah.
why are they able to FaceTime after Snoke died?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Exactly.
I guess.
And I know that people now are gonna go, well, it's because he was really Palpatine, and now Palpatine's doing it. No.
No. I'm sorry.
No, because they clearly didn't. They say, oh, I've never for once. There are people who are like, maybe it's true that because they said that it was all part of the plan that Palpatine was supposed to be. I'm like, no, you are 100% lying.
Oh yeah.
There is no way.
No way.
They killed Snoke and then scrambled and realized, oh, we need some sort of person because Kylo Ren isn't intimidating enough on his own.
Oops.
And so they're like, should we go with the Duel of the Fates script where they actually somehow try to kind of make Kylo intimidating?
Yeah.
And make him kind of freaking terrifying? No, just bring back Palpatine.
Just bring him back. You know,
and don't even explain what it is. Just
yeah.
Don't even make it seem like he was kind of there. Just say, like, the whole thing, I made Snoke, is interesting, and then they just completely drop it. They never explain it again.
Yeah.
There's literally comics where Snoke talks about where he grew up. If he was a clone, he would not know.
Wow. I think it's weird that the first time Rey meets Poe is at the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah. It's so
I don't
forced
like that.
when they shake. That's the problem with it. If
so bad.
one of the main characters of your movie if two of your main characters of the movie are meeting each other at the end of the second movie,
you've messed up.
You need to stop. Go back.
Go back. Try again.
Yeah, try again. And the part that sucks is after you watch Rise of Skywalker, they kind of have interesting chemistry, and you're like, oh, cool. So this could have been
like
developed really good, and it wasn't.
Yeah. Also, I was really sad when they didn't use the little boy in Rise of Skywalker. The little boy who has Force.
They use him. I don't know if you know this. They use him in Duel of the Fates.
Oh, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. You said you watched summaries, though, right?
I read a summary.
Okay. I just say, at the end, Rey starts another Jedi Academy, and he's one of the kids running around.
I literally can't wait to read the script. Literally.
It's a little confusing because it's a script, and it's not...
Oh, I've read the entire book of The Cursed Child. Don't get me started.
No. Oh, we need to talk about that.
Okay, we will.
There's so many things we can talk about.
I know, I'm so excited. Okay, so that was Last Jedi. I actually kind of didn't mind watching it. Don't quote me on that.
It's kind of like, you kind of like, I appreciate parts of it. Name like stuff you actually really like or love about it, if there's anything you love.
I like Finn.
On its own, doesn't have to be.
I like Finn in general. Oh, one sec.
We disagree there.
I don't know.
This has been an interesting discussion. Very interesting. By the way, sorry guys if you can hear like people in the background for me or her, because I have people in the background of my house like running around and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right outside of my room.
So yes. Last Jedi was good-ish. I thought the colors were interesting, and the battle actually looked kind of cool. I liked that it got real, kind of. Like, I didn't like the political stuff, but I did like that they were taking heavy losses, and they were like, guys, we need to do something.
You know what would be fun?
We're losing. What?
I don't think we can do it, because we'd probably get in trouble. But if we could somehow, if this channel gets traction, or the podcast, but I don't know, or something like that, if sometime in the future, I don't think we could do it, but if we could like watch Last Jedi live and then like pause through it and talk about it.
That would be fun.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
I really love one of the best thing I think I like the most out of it is the whole like relationship between Rey and Ben up until the point when he turns.
Yeah.
I really love that. I love watching their scenes. I love Kylo because it's probably part of it's the guy's acting, but the way they do write him and the way he talks and stuff, it feels so unique and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like their scenes and her kind of
Yeah.
talking to him
Yeah.
because she feels like I think he's the only one who understands.
Oh yeah, I love that about it. It's really cool.
And then they kind of I don't mind that being a new Force thing because that one they did
No,
it
I
in
don't
such a way
mind
that
it.
it still felt kind of mysterious and like
New.
well paced. Yeah, whenever they
Yeah.
do it in Rise of Skywalker, they ruin the kind of mysteriousness of it
Yeah.
by just showing them fighting. Like they don't I like how they cut back to them. They never show you what the other person is seeing. If that makes any sense. And so it's really cool.
Uh-huh.
That was really cool. I like Ryan Johnson. I love that he came up with that. That was a good idea.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Is there I think that's it for me right now. I'm sure I'll think of things later and we can talk more about it when we talk about Rise of Skywalker.
Oh boy. That should probably be its own thing.
It should be. And we're gonna talk about it next time. Yeah.
Are we done, I guess, then?
Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.